Identifying this force that could end the conflict between ethics and economics is the debate that's raging the world over. While there are no clear answers to the questions this age-old conflict throws up, experiments that explore a new way of looking at capital perhaps are the need of the hour. Hello and welcome to the Ministers of Change. I'm Shireen Bhan. On the show this week, we try and understand why Maharashtra's agri-sector is ailing.
There is no adequate agricultural policy, particularly when whole country was looking at Maharashtra, particularly because of farmer suicide. The only thing the government could do was to organize compensation to the farmers' families.
We travel through the state and talk to farmers to understand what they want.
Government का support हमारे लिए कुछ नहीं.
All the schemes they implemented got ridden into corruption. That is the major problem.
We also look at the question of employment and skills education for youth in the state.
What we are working out to graduate the dependent population from agriculture sector towards the manufacturing sector in a gradual way.
The winter session of the Maharashtra State Legislature will see the unveiling of a new textile policy, ostensibly one that will bring many benefits to the state's suicide crucible, Vidarbha. With a planned investment of 40,000 crore rupees and the creation of 12 lakh jobs, it holds out the promise of resurrecting an almost dead industry. If implemented in earnest, it could help farmers in the region deal with rising input costs and unfavorable pricing of cotton. But even before it can take off, this policy has hit a political juggernaut. By giving a boost to the cotton-growing Vidarbha, Marathwada and North Maharashtra, it seeks to end the Western Belt's monopoly over 70% funds for cooperative spinning mills, worrying NCP heavyweights from Western Maharashtra's sugarcane belt.
Well, actually one must say that Sharad Pawar is a politician 24/7. Perhaps the only person who understands agriculture, industry, urbanization and all aspects. At the same time, despite this immense understanding, excellent political network, wonderful compatible relationship with bureaucracy, even Sharad Pawar has failed completely in providing total leadership of the state, and therefore he remains in Maharashtra today as a leader of Western Maharashtra and not whole of Maharashtra. Our farmers did not commit suicide in Western Maharashtra, they committed suicide in Vidarbha. But his approach towards Vidarbha was as if it was approach towards some other state.
And this attitude of politicians before and since Sharad Pawar, coupled with the lack of vision for agriculture in the state, has done much damage. For instance, Maharashtra is one of the most poorly irrigated states in India. In 5 decades since 1960, the irrigated area has increased from 6.5 to only 17.7%. And ironically, the major part of this rise has been in the sugar belt of Western Maharashtra.
To all the politicians saying, oh, we are doing this for the farmer and that for the farmer, just a simple thing of saying, okay, now today you can't export. Okay, now you can export, but now the price has fallen to an extent where it doesn't make any sense anymore. You have to give your goods to the APMC, which is, by the way, very political. One thing I've seen is that the whole system of agriculture in our country and in Maharashtra is stuck in just a mass of bureaucracy. You know, you have so many vested interests that the trader lobby is so strong that ultimately the farmer becomes almost like, you can say, a political football.
And perhaps here, numbers speak the best. Between 2003 and 2007, 12,000 farmers committed suicide in the state. The central government took notice, and in 2008, a relief package was announced for 6 of the worst hit districts.
4 साल पहले ससुर ने किया, उसके 1 साल बाद देवर ने, और इस साल मेरे पति ने किया.
This was buffered in the subsequent budget with a 70,000 crore rupee loan waiver, of which Maharashtra's farmers were to receive 14,000 crores.
While the waiver was welcome, its architecture was flawed. It dealt only with bank credit and ignored the money-lender debt. By excluding those holding under 5 acres and making no distinction between irrigated and unirrigated land, it kept a large chunk of those affected out of the net. Now, the state government in 2008 pitched in with 6,200 crore rupees for farmers not covered by the central waiver. But these small changes address the symptoms, not the root. So the problem does not go away.
Central government or state government has sanctioned money for these farmers, but all the schemes they implemented got ridden into corruption. There are leaders like Sharad Pawar. They tell people they have come from the family of farmers and they can solve the problem. But in last 25 years, I think Maharashtra does not have any kind of agrarian policy. So there are temporary solutions, there are speeches, there are agendas, there are political agendas, but there is no political will.
And again, it's the numbers that tell a story. According to the National Crime Records Bureau, Maharashtra for the 10th year in a row has seen the highest number of farmer suicides in the country in 2009 at 2,872.
There is a form of, agriculture, business and financial literacy, which is extremely important to migrate to some of the pockets that have suffered repeatedly. And I think this has to be done through political and some mix of, business evangelism. And I think these pockets which have been suffering need, special doses of, policy support. They also need specific ideation in terms of getting to the root cause of the problems, identifying time-bound action steps. And in my judgment, loan waivers is never a permanent solution because it just comes back to haunt you later.
Because systemic problems don't get resolved, cash crop cultivation of sugar and cotton are cost-intensive. Bank credit remains either absent or expensive, and government investment in agriculture has not been well planned. For instance, Maharashtra is a state leading in drip irrigation. 60% of India's drip irrigation systems are found here, but the ongoing power crisis in the state has rendered these systems redundant.
The electric का बहुत बड़ा problem है, लेकिन drip irrigation होने की वजह से 1 घंटे के अंदर 1 एकड़ बन जाता है, 8 घंटे में 8 एकड़.
While endemic problems remain, there has been a move to educate farmers in the state and reintroduce them to the basics. In Varan village, 4 hours from Nagpur, there is a unique experiment underway. In the last few months, women have been receiving training under the state government's Farm Field School program. Groups of about 30 farmers, headed by a Sanchalak, receive practical training and demonstrations on correct techniques to use. And to complete the school atmosphere, there are even regular tests.
कपास पे कौन सा भी कीड़ा आ गया तो हम बाजार जाते थे, वहाँ से महंगी दवाई लाते थे और बस झट से फवार देते थे. उसी की वजह से हमारा पूरा नुकसान हो जाता था. अभी खेती खाई की वजह से हमको यानी पहले देखना है कि इन पे कौन सा फवारा देना है, उससे फायदा हुआ है.
In other parts of the state, especially Vidarbha and Marathwada, that have seen large-scale destruction of both cotton and soya crop in recent years, these farm schools have become nodal points for the state government's Crop Pest Surveillance and Advisory Project, or CropSAP. Here, regional agricultural universities have been put in charge of training and appointing field officers who in turn work with farmers. Data collected by them is analyzed and then fed into a central database from which advisory SMSs and notices are disseminated throughout the district.
जैसे देखिए, पहले 3 साल पहले 1 लाख हेक्टेयर से ज़्यादा एरिया इसमें डैमेज हुआ था और उसमें 500 करोड़ तक गवर्नमेंट ऑफ महाराष्ट्र को बांटने पड़े थे. लेकिन जैसे कि स्कीम चालू हुई 2-3 साल से जो चल रही है, एटलीस्ट बिकॉज ऑफ पेस्ट प्रॉब्लम, फार्मर्स आर नॉट फेसिंग एनी प्रॉब्लम.
जो पहले हम खेती करते थे पुरानी पद्धति की और बाद में फिर आधुनिक पद्धति की जब खेती करने लगे तो फसल में बेनिफिट दिखने लगा.
Of late, organic farming has become popular in Maharashtra's most backward districts. Not only does organic farming bring down the cost to a great extent as the use of chemicals and heavy machinery are omitted, it also helps farmers rejuvenate depleting soil and water resources. The government intends to bring 10 lakh hectares of land under organic farming till 2015 against 6.5 lakh hectares at present.
And to complete the cycle, the draft policy on organic farming also proposes marketing of the organic crops by setting up separate centres, improving storage and packaging and encouraging direct sale of the products to consumers. Now, making farmers entrepreneurial will play an important role in not only creating employment but also making agriculture an attractive proposition once again.
And here the government only has to look at the progress it's made under the National Horticulture Mission in the last decade for pointers. Today, Maharashtra is one of the largest producers of flowers and fruits for exports in the country.
What we are working out that provide maximum support to graduate the dependent population from agriculture sector towards the manufacturing sector in a gradual way from the agro-based industry to the pure manufacturing areas. This helps in 2-3 ways. One, the dependency on the agriculture is reduced. Number two, the graduation from the agricultural profession to the agro-based industrial operation also is very easy. Number three, that this shift from the agriculture operation to the labor-intensive agro-based processing sector become also very, very smooth, and it will also reduce the employment-related issues.
Coming up after the break, we take a look at the issue of skills development and assess the quality of education in the state.